moves on fuel and farm loans to what the administration plans to do about soaring fertilizer prices tied to the crisis in the Strait of Hormuz. John Decker is at the White House with what it could all mean as planting season gets underway.
1-2 punch over the past year. First it was tariffs, and now it's the ongoing war with Iran. The president on Friday told farmers that help is on the way. Speaking from the Truman balcony, President Trump touted some of the actions his administration has already taken aimed at benefiting America's farmers, including ending the estate tax, making the small business tax permanent, and providing billions to farmers who took a financial hit because of the president's tariffs.
And as I said, we gave you $12 billion in farm relief, and that happened just recently because you were hurt by certain countries unfairly.
This week, the president issued an emergency order to allow immediate sales of E15 fuel and announced an update to the renewable fuel standards for 2026 and 2027. He also spoke of additional measures his administration is taking.
Today, I'm pleased to announce that the Small Business Administration, that's Kelly, is opening up massive new loan guarantees for farmers and food suppliers, including vegetable farmers, grain farmers, and seed farmers, cattle, pig, and poultry producers, grocery wholesalers, and many more.
Nearly a third of the world's fertilizer is shipped through the embattled Strait of Hormuz, which has essentially been shut down for the past month. That has directly impacted many farmers in the U.S. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins told me that the administration is following the situation very closely.
We're in a much better place because, well, first of all, most of our farmers, about 80%, ordered their fertilizer for this planting season right now last fall. So they are not affected. For the 20 to 25% that didn't order it early, they're going to have it.
The high cost of fertilizer pushed many crop farmers into the red last year, and the closure of the strait has led fertilizer prices to spike close to 30%. As planting season begins in earnest across much of the U.S., agriculture groups are warning that the ongoing conflict with Iran could have severe consequences to food security, both here at home and around the world. For Local News Live at the White House, I'm John Decker.